I really think if we were to design a more responsive vulnerability management solution, we need to go back to the core element, which is going to provide the biggest impact, and that is getting your focus on the right things first. So go back to your scoring. And it is, Alan, you said it is an evolution. So you're not going to get it exactly right the first go. And that's okay, because what you're doing today is better than it was yesterday. And that should be your plan to go forward. Are we always improving? And it could be incremental, it could be exponential. But I really do believe that's how we move into a more responsive program.
I think your point is really important that people need to understand is that it's okay that you're not doing everything that we're going to talk about today all at once. What you need to think about is what's most important. What are your most important assets? What are you most concerned about? How do you protect those? And then you can build out your program based on the success there.
So most of this conversation has been around the find it. And I break down the life cycle to find it, fix it, confirm it. If we think, yes, I think we violently agree on the find it component, the fix it and the confirm it, I think we also need to consider the language. So we need to align on the language. So it's okay that your experts in vulnerability assessment analysis understand the language around severity and risk score, et cetera. But we need to have that same education flow through to the remediation teams, because ultimately they want to understand why. Why is it so important that I prioritize this activity over this activity? So we need to share the knowledge that when something comes out as a very critical or ultra high, whatever your rating system is internally, that they appreciate why it's so critical, that they meet some sort of a timeline. And I fear to call it an SLA, but there is urgency, and there's a reason why we applied that risk score in the first place. So I think the other half of the equation is the fix it, confirm it. And there are things that need to be done within hours, because minutes matter, seconds matter within security operations.
I know when I ran a vulnerability management team, that I had the most success getting things patched in a timely manner when I was able to tell a story. It's interesting because we think of vulnerabilities as being universal, that if it's a vulnerability, it's a vulnerability everywhere. So understanding what's not just in the vulnerability database, but what the other threats are that are out there that maybe haven't made it to vulnerability database yet. So maybe they haven't officially been assigned a CV number, but are still floating around in the wild. Understanding that threat, understanding that maybe a new vulnerability was announced and a researcher released a proof of concept code that said, hey, this is how you could possibly exploit that. Well, as soon as that proof of concept code gets released, somebody's going to figure out how to import that into Metasploit or one of the other attack frameworks. And then pretty soon we're going to see, oh, hey, here are people starting to launch that attack using that POC code, and being able to follow that train from, follow that connection from vulnerability announced, POC code released, Metasploit module developed, active scanning from groups X, Y, and Z for this vulnerability. That's really how we see a lot of this progress. And that's where, those outside experts, that intelligence can really help benefit your organization, because then that really does let you know when it's a hair on fire situation, when, okay, this is really bad. We should go ahead and move up whatever our patching schedule was.